All right, it is Mercy 8 January around about 3:30-ish. It's time for Chewbacca to go to the no Siri, I don't need anything. It's time to take Chewbacca to the dog park. We're headed to Millie Bush, and this is about the time that kids are getting out of school and whatnot. Should be a little bit of traffic. We're still going to avoid the tolls. We haven't gotten our license plates in the mail just yet. So I just want to get some non-toll footage before we get those plates attached to Stygian 2.0. As far as the stock goes, I want to say it rebounded a little bit. Currently sitting around that 395 area. So I didn't buy any shares today. Recently just got out of a space with Wes, former Tesla / SpaceX employee. His technical acumen, holy smokes. I'm with JC on this. Every time I listen to that guy speak, it feels like my IQ gets bumped up a couple of notches. And yeah, it feels pretty good. I recommend everybody follow Wes on X. His handle is like E2E end to end or something like that. But yeah, he shouldn't be too hard to find. I think he hosts that space every Wednesday around noon Central Time. So if you want more technical analysis of how the software functions, I think even the next space, he's gonna dive into what he can about SpaceX. We should have a launch hopefully between now and that next space. That'd be really, really cool. And everybody, you should want to check that out there on X. But as far as FSD go, there's a Tesla, not the car in front of us, but the car in front of that one. That's a Tesla. Here in Southeast Texas, I'm seeing more and more of them. I just want them to be utilizing our AI student driver, just to get a glimpse of what the future has in store before we, stop being supervised. It's really great to watch the progress of FSD. I've been using it for, it's about to be 2 years now, so I think I caught it, kind of had a little bit of an abrupt stop here, but nothing serious. We don't have any cars behind us. But yeah, some human probably made a last second decision to turn or didn't use their blinker or something or another that caused the vehicle in front of me to stop super abruptly. But yeah, our AI student driver, like Wes was saying, it's kind of boring. Like, I have to kind of jazz this up. I'm looking for things that, not necessarily putting it through the gauntlet of what this thing can and can't do. It'd be nice to just, traverse downtown. But to me, it's doing everything. I wouldn't say everything perfectly. There are some issues that I'm having here in my little sphere of the world, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Even the errors that our AI student driver makes, not having this thing engaged would be far worse than even a onesie twosie error that happens every 1,000 miles or so. Or the, turning, being in the turn left only lane and going straight because that's what the navigation indicates. Just some of these planning issues, they exist. I'm not saying that they don't. A big topic of conversation in West's space was the school zones, right? I haven't had any trouble with school zones, mainly because the school zones that I traverse, they all have the lights. So if the lights are on, this is my bro. I don't know, he must know when I'm about to do an FSD video, so let's go ahead and do this. What's going on, bro?
What's up, bro? What you doing?
I'm taking Chewbacca to the dog park, also filming an FSD simultaneously, FSD video.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, go ahead and film that, man. It's snowing here, so I'm about to go hit the poker tables, man.
Oh, if it's snowing, that means somebody wants to give you their money. They really trying hard to give you their money.
Bro, Hey, yesterday we played in a 1-3 game and it felt like it was a 5-10. Bro, it was some killers at the table. I kid you not. And
how'd you fare?
I got there. I did good. I got my prime. I think I got about a little bit over 700. But I had the accordion effect with my stat. But you just got to get in there and dance with some of these people, man. One of them won a WSOP ring.
Oh wow.
There was a
ring.
Loose aggressive guy. Yeah. There was a loose aggressive guy at the table, and then of course you got your tight aggressive folks. Had a couple old man coffees, but they left quick after they realized what type of table it was.
They're like, the juice ain't worth the squeeze here.
They say no. Dude, I kid you not, we did a round of $100 straddles.
Wow.
We did a round. Yeah, it was that serious. And the thing about it, man, about these games, it's like, and I just sit and listen to some people, and they be like, well, I ain't gonna give this person my money, I ain't gonna give that person my money. But you gotta give these people, in order to get action, you gotta give some action. So you just gotta figure out that give and take thing, you know what I mean? And it's just, it's interesting how it is. And then we had this one young kid, he's about 22, 23. All he played was the online game, and he started playing some live, but he's big on the math and the analytics. Every time he's in a big pot, he wants to spread the pot. He wants to look at the numbers.
Oh wow, he's
brother,
like asking he's asking the dealer to like fix the pot.
Spread the pot.
Oh
yeah, he's
shit.
like, hey, can you spread the pot? So he's looking at
he's
looking at everything, implied stack to pot ratio and stuff like that. But he doesn't know there's two sides to the coin. It's not only math, but we also reading the tails, the bet patterns. He's used to clicking 3x, pot, 2x, you know what I mean? But you come into this live game, we see you fidgeting, we see you sitting up, we see, you know, it's a lot that's going on. And then,
well, he was easy to read, huh?
And then these people, yeah, he was easy to read. Put it like this, his math didn't make a difference because we were just slinging chips anyhow. So the math didn't, and then when we had the big stacks in front of us, and you was a small stack, dude, we was going to chop you down. It's that simple. If we, for instance, I had 2,000 some change in front of me, and if I'm going against a small stack, you got about $400. Dude,
you got some decisions to make.
Some pressure on it.
You gonna have some decisions to make.
If you call if you call pre-flop 40 and the flop comes, I'm betting 90. You know what I mean? I'm betting the third of your stack, bro. And they start thinking about that. And think about it. When I was low on my chips, instead of waiting to bust out, I would just go ahead and rebuy and refill because I'm like, man, if I get into a hand, I need to have some ammunition. I can't, because the lower chips amount I have, the better range they put me on. You know what I mean? Because they know I'm going to be selective. So I'm like, I got to rebuy. So I rebought, and as soon as I rebought, I had got in the $1,300 pot, and I won. Now, I wouldn't have won
if you'd have just been clutching pennies.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been chasing down. I wouldn't have played, 7-6 suited, mid position with 3 callers in front of me. I wouldn't have played that.
You'd have lost that opportunity. You'd have lost that opportunity.
Exactly. But that's what a lot of people don't pick up around here. They have a small stack, in particular the old man coffees, some of these young Thundercats, and they want to play that hero story, a chip in the chair, but that don't work, bro. That doesn't work. You better.
That's tournament ball.
So you can fight.
That's tournament ball.
That's tournament ball. And I'm straight cash game. I'm not a tournament guy, so you better reload. Otherwise, I'm going to pick on you. Even if I don't have anything, I'm going to pick on you. You know? So, but yesterday was a fun game, so they like, man, you need to come in and play that PLO. No, I'm retired. I'm good. Man, 1-3 is my jam right now. My bankroll is sufficient for it. And, it's that simple. And when I want to move up to higher levels, then I will. But dude, like I say, the 1.3 was like a 5.10, but I had I had 2K in front of me, so I had the bankroll to supplement this stuff, man. And that's what's key. And then people rebuying back in for. Some dude bought it in for like $200, and I'm like, dude, we just straddled $100 in orbit. You buying it for $200 is not going to do anything to us. We're just gonna be like, thank you, and that's what happened. He donated the money, and guess who he donated it to? He donated to me. he goes all in with it. Yeah, he saw us slanging chips and stuff like that, and he wasn't catching the hands that quote unquote he wanted, which was the premiums, right? So he gets upset, and he has the button. He's like, I'm straddling all in, and I looked. I'm 2 rows down. I looked. I said, how much is that? That's 190. I looked, and I had ace queen offsuit. I'm like, he's straddling? I said, you know what? Everybody folded. I said, you know what? I'll be your Huckleberry. I went in and called. He ain't looked at his cards. He flipped them over. He had ace king. I was like, oh no. And I had ace queen. Flop comes out. Queen 3-6. Blank.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Come again. Oh wait, that's that Apu. My bad. I think that's not kosher anymore. I'm a Simpsons junkie, so forgive me.
But the more of the story, man, you can't come in with certain smaller stack sizes in a game like that. It's just, there's a time and place for all of that. I get it. But then as he left, as I busted him out, the one dude that was the WSOP winner, he was like, man, I ain't never giving that guy my chips because he doesn't give action. He just plays his premiums and stuff. And you know what? And I started thinking, I was like, man, this WSOP guy, and he's a straight killer, bro.
Yeah.
He doesn't flip over his cards. He doesn't give people hints of what he had or anything like that.
And I'm like, you gotta earn it.
Has a great personality. He'll talk to you about anything, strategy and stuff like that. But he don't let you know his cards. You gotta pay to play, whether he's bluffing or not, And I'm like, you know what? I just learned something today. I can be nice, but I could be a stone cold killer myself. And that's what I told myself. So
leave them pondering.
I'm not gonna I'm gonna leave them pondering, and that actually entices them to call because they want to see what you got.
Oh yeah.
They want to see if you're the truth. And when you show them you're the truth, they're going to be treated. And then that's when you can really open up your range because now you got this perception. This cat got it.
You see,
around.
He a circuit WSOP guy. He learns that from his time at the tournament, right? I'm the same way. I'm not showing you my cards unless you pay, right? So, but that's a tournament mentality.
100%. 100%. And that works with plenty. Game,
Yeah.
And for me, I entice people to call me when I got the nuts.
Oh yeah.
But I got into a pot with him, and I knew I couldn't play ABC poker. So, I'm playing different lines as if I'm chasing certain things, but I already have it. And then that's what you got to do against those people. You can't play the normal standard line, and I love it. Like it's a chess match within poker, bro. You got to come with a different line that throws people off, and sometimes you can play your ABC poker and you win your stacks, but for people like him, man, because he's thinking of any and everything, 2-pair, flop trips, set, whatever. He's thinking all types of stuff. So you gotta put him on that wheelhouse and stuff like that, and open the check and all that. And he tried to trap me a couple of times, but I saw him, and he's like, "Man, you did a good check down." I was like, "Yeah, He's like, "Yeah, I hit it on the river, da 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 da." But it's good stuff. I got his respect. I did.
That's what's up.
I got his respect.
That's not hard for you to do, but man. You're a good player. You're a good player. You know what's going on.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I get a lot of people respecting him, and it's like this. nobody invites me to their table. So,
They like checking up on you, but they don't want you to be at their table.
yeah, they looking at the stats, but they don't invite me to the table. And I take that as a sign of I take that as a sign, a good sign, man.
That's respect.
I see
That's
some
respect.
people that come in, they be like, yo, seat open, come on over here.
That's fucked
They be
up.
telling some of those people, I was like, you sucker.
Yeah, you don't want to be invited.
Yeah. But on average, I mean, I'll take about 2,500 cash to me in the 1-3 game, and I'm like, I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I don't see myself losing 2,500 in a 1-3 session game, unless I just either go on tilt or I just get ran through. You know what I mean? It has to be like I put money in and I'm making them gamble and they hit. That's how I see myself losing. Like even when people flop sets and stuff, I kind of sniff it out, bro.
Yeah.
I don't get sucked in, or if somebody has a straight made and I hit 2 pair on the river and they got a straight on the river, I know to kind of fold that now. The old me used to call because I hit
Let me
2
see
pair.
it. Let me see it.
Trying to see the face. Yeah, but I ain't gotta see it, man. But some of these young Thundercats, they want to see it if they hit 2 pair and I hit a straight. So that's the game I'm tweaking right now. It's like it's okay to fold.
It's
it really
okay
is.
to fold.
Because the moment and the moment they try to do a roundhouse, you won't catch them because because they believe they can make you fold. They go, oh, I can make them fold now. No, you can't make me fold. I ain't worried about how much you bet. I'm just trying to figure out how to maximize profit, minimize losses. So that's too easy. Yeah, but I just arrived here, man. I'm gonna put in about maybe a 6 or 7 hour session, see what goes on, and next week I'll be in Tampa playing at the tables there.
All right. That's what's up,
So,
then.
I'll keep you posted on that.
What's up?
Yeah. So, all right, my brother. I'll holler at you later.
All right, love you, bro.
All right, love you too.
Now, that had very little to do with FSD, but I'm not gonna, you get a little insight. That's my brother. He's in Kentucky right now, playing a little poker. That's his passion. And when he gets out of the military, I have a feeling he's gonna pursue that. He'll have a lot of let's just say he'll have a lot of rope. He's become a much better player over the years. And that's it. Anything that you do that you have passion for, you might not be the best at it initially, but as long as you still have that passion, you should continue to pursue. And over time, being the best at something, that's a tall order, especially if you're playing something competitive like poker or anything that you decide to pursue. You ain't got to be the best. You just got to be effective when you're talking about money and poker and things like that. I look at myself, I used to play a lot of cards, and I wasn't terrible, but I knew I wasn't the best. I enjoyed it, but it came to a point where my brother, he'd be like, are you going to the tables? Because he knows I'm pretty decent. And it is one of the few things that we have in common that we can talk about, for hours. I'm trying to get him in the Tesla sphere, but he'd rather go to the tables, whereas I would rather drop $700 in TSLA and call it a day, right? Like I'm okay with that. Every time I go to the tables and I don't win, I'm, because you can't win every time, If you're in the options market, you don't win every time. You don't predict it every time. So, you have to kind of weigh it. Every time I've lost money in options or at the card table, I think about, man, if I'd have just dumped that in Tesla and just wiped my hands of it, I'd have been better off. But I also do enjoy, I'm more of a tournament player, whereas he's more of a cash game guy. He likes the thrill, and I'm not going to kid you. sending a motherfucker to the ATM, that is a very fun feeling. Because you've been on if you've played any amount of poker, you've had to go to the ATM more than likely, right? Sometimes you have to buy back in. It's not every, can't win them all. But sending a guy to the ATM and watching him be like, hold my seat, that's like a sniper shot for anybody, for any of you gamers there. That's like getting a headshot or something. You're like, that's me. I did that. But I haven't played any real cards since I've been, investing in Tesla. Every now and then I might go play a tournament. That WSOP circuit, it has caught my interest, my fancy. But for some reason, I just rather dump that money into Tesla because I know I'm not so good that I can go, get top 3 in a tournament and then turn around and dump that in, It is an arduous process. I do enjoy the game, but not as much as I enjoy watching my share count of TSLA go up. I think I just have to weigh that. Do I rather see more Tesla accrued in my brokerage account or spend hours in there, mental jousting with a table of 9 plus other people trying to collect money? So, all right. It looks like our AI student driver, there was some debris, like a toilet paper or a paper towel bag was in the road. It did register it, and then it just said, you know what? It is insignificant, and drove right over it, and everything was fine. But it did give us a little bit of hesitancy, like it did notice an object in the road. Well, that's interesting. I like seeing things like that. But now that I gave you the spill, my brother I don't know. That's the second time he's called while we were in the middle of an FSD video. I'm not gonna cut it out. That's real, And I don't even. I'll go back and look at the tape. I'm looking at some of these vehicles around me behaving in an erratic fashion, and our AI student driver is accounting for them, which is absolutely special. All right, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking, talking, I'm able to continue a conversation, pay attention to what he's saying. The car is doing the majority of the driving. I'm just making sure my spidey sense doesn't go off to where I have to take over. And this is an absolute joy to drive. It's like almost 4 o'clock. There's a lot of cars on the road, and I don't feel any kind of pressure or any kind of, anxiety having to drive. When driving at this time, I'd be like, nah, I'll just wait till all the cars are gone, because now I feel like I am an order of magnitude safer than I was before FSD. Before FSD, it just wasn't worth it. Like, I don't, it's just the stress. If you do get in an accident, it could be, it's just not worth it to me to go out at certain time periods. But with FSD, that's all but gone. And the more people that get on FSD, the more confident I'll be that it doesn't matter what time of the day I get on the road, my computer, my AI student driver, that it's got me covered, and I will be safe. We'll get to the destination safe. We'll get there in a timely fashion, and we'll have all this leftover energy from when I would just be constantly looking over my shoulder, checking every mirror and camera to make sure that I wasn't being tailed too closely or merging into a lane that was, kind of jam-packed or about to miss an exit, thinking about doing something illegal just so I can make a turn. I don't have to worry about none of that no more. My AI student driver's got me covered. If it's too much to try to make an exit, it'll just keep going, because you know what, ladies and gents? There's more than one way to skin a cat. You don't have to go. That's what I think that was one of the biggest takeaways when my mom was in the vehicle. She was taking notes, mental notes, about the streets that FSD was choosing to take. Right, we're on Briar Forest, and obviously that street is god awful when it comes to the maintenance of the street. Terrible. But some of these other roads getting to and from the CVS to her apartment, she was like, why did it choose this route? Why did it choose that route? I was like, well, it's the shortest distance. It's not concerned about the mileage. So, you know, if you don't have to think about these things and the car just does it, that's just one less thing to be on your plate. And, you know, I think it would just take some time. I really don't care what route, what circuitous route that this thing decides to take. As long as I can look at there and see, all right, it expects us to be there by 4. We get there. I expect it to do some rerouting via the interwebs and knowing where the traffic is, where a potential accident might be, and get us to where we need to be in a timely fashion. If I ain't got to worry about that, all the better. So we got an overcast day. You know, it's one of those wintry overcast days. I want to say the temperature outside is around 44, 45. It's been a while since Chewy got to stretch his legs, so I figured I would do that. Yesterday, I decided to go to one of the local watering holes. I think I'm gonna use that as B-roll. There was a Tesla on that footage that was making an unprotected left turn, and I think I might use that as some maybe an X post or something just to showcase, because I believe that vehicle was on FSD. I'm not for sure, obviously, because I don't know the person in that vehicle or had any contact, but the way the vehicle was operating, I'm starting to be able to suss out whether or not a Tesla is on FSD, right? If you know me personally as a driver and you see my vehicle in operation and you're like, oh man, that's hustle in that car. And if it's swerving and kind of like not being able to lane keep, you know I don't have FSD engaged. But if you see the vehicle making smooth, buttery lane changes, it's constantly in a good place in the center of the road. It just drives like it knows what the hell it's doing as opposed to B. So that's how you know if I got FSD engaged. So I can kind of get a glimpse, especially if the vehicle's trying to do a maneuver that is, you know, a little more complex for the human eye. Like the way the vehicle moves, it's almost as if there's no real urgency, even if the situation might dictate a human to be flustered, right? So that's I think that's FSD. I don't know. We're gonna check the tape, but I think I'm gonna start using some B-roll, just some clips of locations that I am when I'm talking about FSD for my other videos, just creating some B-roll footage that is just our AI student driver being awesome, right? Most of these videos I just do 1x 4K video, takes forever to download, but I do it for you guys because I think it's important that the world sees how talented our Tesla AI team is, for one, and for two, there's a better way. There's a safer way, and you know, if I'm not being too honest, a cooler way, right? This shit is cool. I can't believe how awesome this technology is when it comes to being able to handle the complex task of driving. I can't stress it enough, and I will continue to make videos until I start seeing a greater percentage of Teslas on the road and a greater percentage of FSD take rate users in the great state of Texas. When we get to unsupervised, I think we're gonna open up a Pandora's box. There's going to be an incredible demand for Tesla vehicles, considering FSD, supervised or unsupervised, the only place you can get that is from the Tesla website. So I think demand is going to get pretty insane, pretty crazy. You all right, Chewy? You getting a little antsy? We're almost there, man. You know it. But I think demand's gonna get pretty crazy by the end of 2025. If you don't have your Teslas, if you're thinking about upgrading from AI3 to AI4, you see me, I don't wait. We had the AI3 car with the Model Y, and Yosh was like, I think we can get the Model X. And I was like, well, let's make sure it's AI4 Model X and we can go through with it. We just got Stygian 2.0. There's a 2025 Tesla Model 3. I'm not, you know, I could have waited for the next generation of vehicles, right? The cheaper models, but no, I want to be able to test these this software right now and utilize these vehicles right now. So if it comes to a time where I have to have it, then I'll get it. You know, if I want it, I own it, I buy it. So, you know, if you're thinking about upgrading, I guess you got a few months before, but if you start seeing wait times get blown out, you better get your vehicles immediately. Whatever you can get. I think AI4 is, they'll make good on AI3 without a shadow of a doubt. But if you're impatient like me and you want the latest and greatest, you might want to get your AI4 cars before it's too late. So now our AI student driver is gonna try to park here in the middle of two handicap parking spots. So there's obviously some things that we've got to work on. But if we were a ride-hail service, I think it would have dropped us off perfectly. But we're gonna go ahead and try to park this thing properly. Yeah. All right, so let's see if we can. I think we see something here. Now this parking lot doesn't have much for lane lines, right? So it sees vehicles and assumes that right next to them is parking. You know, it's one way to go about it. And they're faint lines in some areas, just super faint. Somebody needs to go through here and redo these lines over here at Millie Bush Dog Park. So there we are. We're finna go let Chewbacca stretch his legs, and we'll be right back. We've done a couple of laps over here at Millie Bush Dog Park. It is approximately 4:15, and I guess we're just gonna go back to the crib. I mean, there's really nothing else that we need to do out here, right, Chew? On our way over here, my brother called. We got to talk a little bit about poker and, you know, make sure he's doing good and everything. Not a whole lot about FSD, but, you know, we're going to see where the conversation takes us on our way back home. All right. Now, are we going to have any parking lot shenanigans? Like I said, this seems like a very empty parking lot. And we're going to, I guess, go left here. So we got a little bit of some parking lot shenanigans going on right now. Let's see if our AI student driver can navigate us safely back to the road. Okay, after a brief pause there at our previous destination, our AI student driver has continued onward. So the shenanigans not terrible. When we're exiting here, like right now, it wants to be on this side of the road. This is problematic. So we're gonna disengage and get over here. So I'm not sure what that is. I mean, it's having trouble with this particular area. So we're gonna report this. When we're exiting this parking lot, it seemed to have difficulty. When we finally got to the road, it was on the wrong side of the road. So that's not good. It'll probably be in our ugly segment. But this parking lot, the shenanigans are, you know, it's not highly important, but as it's about to get back on Westheimer Parkway, being on the right side of the road is essential. So that is fairly critical. All right, so it's pretty chilly outside, around 44, 45 degrees. There's more people at the dog park than I expected, but hey, why not? A little brisk walk never hurt nobody. Brisk walk in the brisk atmosphere. All right, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna stop. Anyway, absolutely peaceful drives with FSD that I'm a part of. These onesie twosies where it's like a little off, you know, and the complex task of driving is nothing short of a miracle. The fact that we let a 16-year-old do this and have them learn and mature as they age, especially when they get exposed to more difficult, more complex tasks, they gain more confidence, sometimes false confidence. The goal is to watch our AI student driver mature and grow into a driver that we would prefer driving instead of us, right? Every time I see a kid behind the wheel, I'm up in age, you know. I'm going into my third act of life here. Each act is 20 years, by the way. I remember when I was 16 driving. I don't know, for me there's a sense of freedom, don't get me wrong. You're able to traverse great distances, you know, but there is this lurking, you know, every time you get behind the wheel could easily be your last. Whether it be because you're tired, whether you come across someone that's inebriated, you know, and you just never really know. You have to trust everyone on the road. And I think within short order, that reality is going to be reshaped, where driving will be like jumping in an elevator. You don't expect anything to go wrong. Could it? Possibly. But 9 times out of 10, you hop in an elevator, it's going to take you to your destination without you even batting an eyelash, right? That's what I fully expect that to be with autonomous vehicles. I hop in one, I get to my destination, I don't bat an eyelash, and this thing continues to do what it does while I go about my day. That's exactly what I expect from any autonomous ride hail, or even if this is autonomous and it's my own personal vehicle. It's what I fully expect. You know, if I'm going to the zoo, I can just have it take me to the zoo. I can hop out for an hour or two, have this thing go collect fares, 3, 4 fares maybe, as long as it's back in time to pick me up in a couple of hours as I want to go back home. That is truly an ideal situation. It picks me up from the zoo, takes me to dinner or go home, and then I send it back out there to do more rides till I need it again the next day. That would be that would be the ideal scenario. You know, take care of it, make sure the maintenance is good. We got a cyclist coming up over here as we're about to bend into a left bend. We give a wide berth to our cyclists, just like any human would do, respectful vehicles should do. There's vehicles behind me that are just whipping by this cyclist and not getting over in the next lane. To me, that's rude as shit. But at least our AI student driver has the wherewithal to know that it's safer for me, you know, less liability for me to just get over into the next lane. I do believe we're about to take a right at this light. Our AI student driver is handling all this with great precision, you know, doing the right thing before I could even think that maybe it should be doing this. It's already doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it well, as if it were LL Cool J. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. But I'm impressed. Like, it's like constantly doing what I expect it to do. And that's all you can really ask, right? I think Wes, when we were in the space, he's like, it's so boring because I have no reports. He's like, why do I need another why do I need another version if this is perfect for me right now, right? And that's really all it is customer satisfaction. I have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you know, the good is about the car, the ugly is about the car. And I'm okay with it, right? Like, it's something people should take note of, in my opinion. But if if I were judging it because it made a mistake every now and then and was like, these rarities, they seem so far and few between. Like, I don't know any other way to explain it except that I would rather have this, let's just say, imperfect software than be driving in that Ford. That's just me personally. And there's a lot of AI3 people that don't have 12.5.6 just yet, where that's end-to-end doing some miraculous things for the AI3 software, AI3 hardware. It's pretty remarkable. But a lot of individuals are on version 12, but it's like 12.5.4, and there's still some consistent mistakes being made. And that's that's to be expected, right? It's not the latest and greatest of the software, but it's so much better, and I've experienced it, than having nothing. I remember when Panda was in the shop, and we had this 2023 or 24 Nissan, something like that, and it had some lane keep. It was not even worth turning on. It was just abhorrent, in my opinion. Whereas if I engage FSD, this is absolving me of many of the tasks that are required for driving. And all I got to do is pay attention to the road, which I'm doing anyway. It's a no-brainer. So even when you have a lesser version of the software than what I'm posting, or you know, one of these pretty soon the OG beta testers, they're gonna have a version that's better than this, which is hard to fathom, but it's going to happen. And there'll be a space in time where we won't have the latest and greatest. You know, some of the rest of us that weren't a part of the beta program. And it's you really have to kind of understand, right? Tesla doesn't want to put you in something that's harmful. So if you're in an AI3 car, they're not just going to push version 13 to you without making sure that the hardware can handle it, right? That the model is performing so that you can continue to utilize the software, right? Like, if it's like that AI assist, that lane keep assist that was on that Nissan that wasn't even worth turning on, that's no bueno. That's not what Tesla wants. So a little patience as the AI team does things that no one has ever done before, you know, in this capacity, right? So I implore AI3, either engage a little patience or go ahead and upgrade. You know, gets a little of that Beyonce, let me upgrade. So, and that's me, right? When AI5 comes out, I'm not gonna complain that I don't have the latest and greatest software from AI5. I'm a upgrade. Fuck a complaint. I'm finna go get what I want. And that's the same thing, right? I got an Apple Watch, but this shit is old. Old as dirt. And I can complain, yo, Apple, why haven't you sent me version 11 of my watch yet? Or I could just go get a brand new Apple Watch and have the version 11 where, you know, can talk to my car, you know, similar to my phone can, right? I don't expect this old ass watch to do what the new watches can do off rip. It's not plausible. But yeah, that's my tangent. I feel you, AI3 owners, but I could kind of tell when I was using the AI3, watching it progress from version 11 to version 12, that I knew I wasn't gonna be on AI3 very long. Especially when they said that all the sexy lineup now has AI4. Yeah, it wasn't gonna take long. So, and next year, this time next year, we might be talking something similar when it comes to the AI5. So, me, I'm okay. Like, I don't think I'm gonna rush out to buy an AI5 car immediately. You see how the software progresses with AI4, because there was a time, right? There was a brief period in time where AI3 cars were getting the updates so much faster than my AI4 Model X. And then there was a switch. There was like, yeah, we're gonna switch over to this AI4 thing, you know what I mean? And needless to say, I was happy, but I was also content to using my Model X with the AI4 hardware with AI3 stuff. All right, so we got a construction zone here. Pay a little extra attention. Everything looks like it's going well, and yeah, now I can relax a little bit now that the construction zone is over. But you know, AI4 was using basically AI3 models, right? Just had all this extra room in the shoe to be able to do so much more. And eventually the team was like, we haven't reached our limit with AI3, but some of this will go a little bit faster if we just use the capabilities of AI4. And that's what we want, right? We want to be able to solve this problem as fast as we possibly can. And if it can be solved faster with AI5, then by golly, that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to make concessions, let the next generation of vehicles embark on this journey that we're so glad to be a part of, and, you know, make it do what it do, baby. Very looking forward to some unveils that are going to happen in the next 6 months or so, whether that be for the next generation vehicles or the unveiling of the unsupervised FSD. I'm looking forward to a lot of things from Tesla this year, and we're just gonna shout to the rooftops, shout from the rooftops, and continue to accumulate Tesla shares without any kind of, like, whenever my brother calls and talks about poker, I do think about going to some of these rooms out here. I think it would be fun. It's a good way to compete, you know, my brain versus your brain, and then the randomness of the cars, RNGs basically, and level playing fields, all that stuff, right? And then I take FSD for a drive. It's like, well, if I have this much extra money to go play, then I could easily just dump this into my brokerage account and accrue more shares. And that's the name of the game, baby. as many shares as I possibly can before we start generating revenue per mile. So we're up here on, where are we at? I-10? Yeah, that's where we're at. We're up here on I-10, making moves. Looks like it wants to take the Katy Fort Bend. So we're not going to take frontage, it looks like. We're going to go around. I mean, it just could be the time of day that frontage, you know, the side road of 99 essentially might be a little busier than, say, you know, the back roads of Katy over here. Alright, so we got the 18-wheeler over here merging into our lane. I think we're gonna try to go past them, and we do. We got 1 mile before our exit. It's a good opportunity to see how the highway stack is performing. Looks like we're gonna try to wedge ourselves between these two 18-wheelers in order to make sure we hit our exit. Nothing odd, you know, it's just an interesting way to go about it. Nothing alarming, nothing dangerous. The car's just doing what it's got to do. And I approve. I mean, think about it. This thing's traveling about 70 miles an hour, making maneuvers that Waymo wouldn't even dare dream of. So, like what says that those guys over there in China, they think they got the bee's knees. I'd be curious to see, right, what they're working with. If Tesla brings the FSD over there, who's gonna, well, what's it gonna look like? Who's gonna dominate the marketplace when it comes to technology? Because as we know, the new luxury is technology. Those that have the best technology will be deemed the greatest luxury vehicles. And if Tesla releases a cheaper model over there, which will be significantly cheaper over there than it is over here, they'll be competing in an entirely different category with insane technology. You know, if it works for the Cybercab, I'd imagine those dimensions might not be too terribly different for the next generation vehicle or Model 3s, Model Ys over there. So, yeah, boy. Yeah, the competition, you know, we don't run from competition. You know, I've been playing team sports my whole life, been in the Navy. You know, we don't run from the competition. We charge head first into there, making sure that we know that we're the best on that day. So that's how I feel about Tesla. I don't think Tesla is scared of the competition. They invite the competition. They welcome it so that they can squash it and crush it. You know, let the consumer deem what's best. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to see. So, be interesting to see. NVIDIA's got their new chips, the new roadmap out. I have a feeling Tesla's going to be buying a lot of their tools over there, utilizing those tools better than anybody else that they could partner with, right? We're partnering with Toyota, Aurora. We're partnering with Uber, you know, and everybody's going to be utilizing these tools that NVIDIA has. There's no doubt about it. The only person that's going to utilize those tools with any incredible efficiency, dare I say it, will be Tesla. I'd like to see it, you know. We'll see what happens. 2-3 years, do we have a legitimate competitor to FSD? I doubt it. You know, I want to see it. I want to believe it, but you know, I'll keep my antenna up just to see what's being showcased, not just here domestically, but abroad. What do they got? I'm curious. But until then, all right, Dodge, we're gonna stop for this yellow light. I believe you see us doing that. That's good. All right. What's gas look like over here at this Shell station? 259. It looks like it's rising a bit. Yeah. Diesel at 329. Still a fair price, right? I don't know. I don't pay for gas anymore. Nothing I have in the house, my cars. I have a gas stove, but I guess I'm not paying that. You know, not like that. You know, nothing I have uses gasoline. Nothing. So, but it's always good to mark these prices. It's good to know. I think one of the other issues was at red lights, there'd be times when our AI student driver might venture off into the intersection, whether it be its turn or it's in the right lane or, you know, at a turn lane, something where it would just, you know, go into intersections with a red light. I think in the space I declared that, and I have it recorded, like one of my first drives with, I want to say 13.2.2.1, it did that. Like it moved over, like we're in a turn left lane, other two lanes were going straight and turning right. They got the green light, and our AI student driver in the far left lane, turning left, still had a red arrow, but it was very, very brief. Very brief. Like it felt like it anticipated it turning green, but it was still red, and so I took over. Ever since then, I've never had any timing issues regarding that. And when my nephew got in the car, I think we were in Panda though, so that was 13.2.2. It didn't have that. So I just declared it a anomaly. All right. I haven't seen it do that in either vehicle, 13.2.2, 13.2.2.1, but I did, because my spidey sense was up, and I was curious, as that light turned green, would our AI student driver, you know, proceed? It did, but the light did turn green almost immediately. Like right after I took over, it turned green. But don't see it too much. We're not blocking Lake Crest, which I imagine is now leasing for 1 and 2 bedrooms. I want to say this is senior living. Maybe. I don't know. That's ideal, right? You get old enough, you can afford a what is it, assisted living? Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want to be in a nursing home, but as long as it's got good internet, I think I'd be okay. No matter if it's a nursing home or assisted living or, you know, community of elderly. That's an interesting prospect. As I get older, obviously. Wasn't thinking about that 20 years ago, I'd imagine. Anyway. seeing more EVs. That was a Ford Lightning, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been a hybrid. I can't really tell, but I do see more EVs. For those that are watching, not all EVs are built the same. You know, I get it. It may appear that all these Teslas look alike. You're seeing more and more of them. You don't want to maybe be driving the same thing that everyone else is. I hear you. I get that. But, you know, I'd be remiss if I tell you Chewbacca and I aren't driving. And there's no other vehicle on the road that can claim that. Not here in Southeast Texas. Not something you can drive to your house anyway, no matter where you are. So, you know, and I look at all these other cars. To me, they're all the same. Like, I look at every other brand that's not a Tesla, and they all look the same to me. They all are the same to me. Obsolete. This driving, I'm never doing. Like, if I can help it, I'm never doing it again. Like, I'm never driving again. Toyotas, fucking Subarus. What is this thing? A Ford? I can't even tell. The emblem's gone. Mazdas, Mercedes. They're all obsolete. The design, they all look similar. Just the emblems are different. Loud, ridiculousness. It's like it would be a chore for me to drive an internal combustion engine. It would be a chore for me to drive any vehicle. Look at it. It started rolling before we got the green arrow. Like, it anticipated it like a human. I'm done. This is insane. So this is the school zone that we typically traverse. It has the lights. It also has a lot of signs that says cell phone use, blah, blah, blah. To me, the discussion in Wes's space was I mean, it's necessary, right? If you get caught in this, especially now, where, you know, autonomous driving isn't a real thing to most, you know, law enforcement. You get caught disobeying the road rules, you're gonna get a ticket. And just because you got a software engaged that does your driving for you, it's not gonna absolve you of that ticket, especially if it's not unsupervised. So I get it. Having it understand these street signs is important, especially from that perspective. But to me, school zones have already been solved. I have no doubt that our AI student driver is going to obey the set speed limit of that road. The fact that there needs to be an additional speed limit because humans are unsafe drivers, whether they're distracted, tired, inebriated, they're not safe. And especially we want to protect our youth. But I know when FSD is engaged, there is no question. It will not hit a child. It won't do it. It's already school zone proof. No matter what speed it's traveling at, whether there's thousands of children around or zero, it will be going the appropriate speed and never hit a child. So to me, it's not a matter of whether or not our AI student driver can cooperate with the unnecessary rules that we impose on humans. The goal for me is, when the fuck are we going to be able to take down those unnecessary signs that only apply to distracted, inebriated, tired, bad fucking driving humans? We need to take those signs down, right? And eventually we're going to get all, you know, those parking signs, like, right? Imagine where the vehicle needs to, like, if you're downtown Houston, you can't park here, you can't park this close to the edge. Those are for humans looking to get out and do something, right? Whatever it may be. When you're talking about an autonomous situation, even those signs become obsolete, so to speak. Right? You're not parking this thing. This thing's gonna go off and go do another drive, or go somewhere, and then, you know, depending on when you have it come back around to pick you up, it'll calculate that distance and be able to pick you up without you needing it to park right next to you, like wherever you're doing your business or whatever. Parking garages, I can't imagine what society's going to look like when we have over 60% of the vehicles on the road autonomous in nature. Like, it's gonna, parking lots, you're gonna take the parking out of the parking lot, and then, you know, the future optimistically looks bright, you know. So, you know, I listened to I was gonna interject. It just seemed, maybe it's just me, I just don't feel like, I think the car is doing a wonderful job being very safe in most scenarios, most situations. And a lot of these road rules, these speed traps and things of that nature, those are designed for imperfect human drivers. Whereas as our AI student driver becomes more adept at this task, we're gonna start taking those fucking signs down, right? You know, it's gonna be like, that doesn't apply to autonomous drivers. But that's just me. I don't know. That's already solved. There's some other things that need to be solved. Emergency vehicles, maybe. Some onesie twosie things when you're talking about roads and construction. Like, this is a freshly constructed road. You got 3 lanes, one that goes straight, one that goes left, one that goes right. Knowing which lane to be in, when these lights are gonna go green for each one. You know, these are some things that need to be fine-tuned, but this is just one intersection of a you know, there's a species different, you know, amount of different intersections across the United States, let alone across the world, for it to have to kind of understand and be able to traverse. I mean, there's just so many varieties of intersections that it's like, you know, there's so many different varieties of butterfly. You know, to be able to identify one and then be able to navigate it properly, that's nothing short of a miracle. So every time it does something wrong, I try to disengage and let the AI team take a look at it, because more than likely, if this is having, there could be multiple scenarios in multiple different regions and counties and states and, you know, whatever, that they could utilize this data to help train the model to be better, you know. So that's the plan, that's the goal. It's not going to happen overnight, but the progress that I've seen alone in the past couple of years, nothing short of astounding. Nothing short of astounding. Well, that's pretty much it, man. Chewbacca and I are going to go back into the warmth of the home, as warm as we're allowing it to be. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.